Hey y'all, as promised, I'm gonna bring another Griffiths family recipe to you today. I'm going to be making their beef stew. Sounds so good. Let me get a picture of it. Little writings in here, you know, where some of them say a little thing about the dish that they're talking about, and then they have little pages where the families will write little things. So let's get started with their beef stew. I'm gonna put my first batch of the stew meat that is just browned. I'm gonna set it over here to the side because I have enough stew meat to just do it in 2 batches. I figured that would make it quicker. The house already smells good, just browning up that stew meat. Okay, now I'm gonna let this batch brown up, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, now I'm gonna add the rest of the beef stew meat. Now we're going to add some Worcestershire sauce. And some salt and pepper. We're going to add some beef bouillon cubes. And I'm going to add just a touch of onion powder. If you watched my chicken gnocchi soup video, you know that when I make recipes at home, I always omit the onions because I do not like onions. I don't mind the flavor from like an onion powder or something, but I do not like onions or the texture of them. I just don't like it. So that's one of the good things about cooking at home is you don't have to pick things out of your food. Just don't put in what you don't like and you're good to go. So now we're going to add some water in. It didn't give an amount, it just says half of the pan. So I think what I'm gonna do is put, I think I'll stop about there. And then it says to bring this to a boil, and then we will put our lid on and let it simmer for about 2 hours. So you know it's gonna be nice and tender when it simmers that long. So I'm going to bring it to a boil, put the lid on, and then we'll see you at the next step. Okay, this has been simmering for 2 hours. It smells really good in here. Now, I'm going to add my potatoes and carrots. But I don't want to splash myself with the boiling water like that. I need to do this carefully without splashing myself. That wasn't too bad. Okay, there goes all of the carrots and potatoes. So we're gonna let those cook for a while, and then we'll come back and we'll add tomatoes, and I'm also adding green beans. I took out the onions and celery because I don't like those, but I do like green beans to be in my stew, so I'm just kind of replacing that with that. That's one of the really good things about cooking at home, especially if you're kind of picky. I wouldn't say I'm a picky eater, but there's just things that I don't like the taste and texture of, like onions, and a lot of recipes have onions in them. And so when I get to make it at home, I just take the onions out. That way I don't have to sit there and pick out at my food like I would if I was at a restaurant. I don't know what it is. I've been this way since I was small. I can't stand to get an onion in my mouth, smell it and taste it. I just don't like it. I don't like to crunch it, or even if it's soft, I don't like to smell it. I just hate onions. Okay, now I'm gonna add in some green beans. This isn't in the cookbook's recipe, it's just something that I know I wanted to add to mine. And then I'm gonna add in a thing of crushed tomatoes. Let's stir this all around. Then we're gonna let this cook now for 10 minutes. If I don't set a timer, I will forget. Once I'm waiting for something to be cooking on the stove, I go and run around and do my other chores and I'll forget, so. While I've got my beef stew simmering over there, I'm gonna make some of this Krusty's honey cornbread. I like to make these in the mini muffin tin when I'm having something like beef stew or like a vegetable soup or something. It's just really good to me to have it. I really open this bag crazy. I just think that it's yummy to have them in the little mini muffins. You just use vegetable oil, milk, and an egg in here. And they are so good and sweet. I like sweet cornbread. Okay. And that's that. I'm gonna get it in the muffin tin. Okay, y'all, so my beef stew from the Griffiths Family Cookbook is done now. I cannot wait to try this. Doesn't it look so good?